Today we're going to get really close to the earth. We're going to practice a reclined sequence. It's all about the earth element. All about apana vayu, a downward moving energy. Very grounding, very calming. Also potentially a very accessible sequence that can be shared in a lot of different ways with a lot of different people. So I welcome you to come onto your back. Once you arrive here on your back, take your feet to about hip width apart. Then let the knees rest in on each other. Notice what that does to the curves of the spine. Then heel toe the feet out a little wider than your hip width and let those knees rest. We're going to place a hand on the belly, a hand maybe on the heart, also on the belly, wherever feels comfortable, wherever they land. Notice if it feels like the back of your neck is short and if your chin is pointing to the sky. If that's the case, go ahead and lift the head and just gently release the chin to soften towards the heart. You can close the eyes here. Feel your breath moving beneath the hands. Feel the back of your body releasing into the earth. With each exhalation, allow your bones to grow a little bit more heavy and grounded. Softening the edges of your jaw, allowing your tongue to relax. Right now, our spine has some nice neutral curves. The lumbar curve, the lower back curve, is present. So the lower back is not pressing into the earth, particularly at this point. The cervical curve, the curve at the back of the neck, is nice and spacious. We're going to change the curves of the spine with our next position. So allowing yourself to breathe easy. We're going to release the hands, pick up the feet, and just allow the knees to come in towards the body. You might let them kind of wiggle, wobble a little bit side to side. Notice how you have removed that lumbar curve, right? Or not removed it, but it's quite different now. It's like a C shape. So when we are born, our entire spine is a large C shape when we're babies. The cervical curve, the curve of the neck, shows up first as babies are doing kind of a cobra-like position crawling around. And only after a few years do they begin to develop the lumbar curve. So here we are, kind of going back in time, embryonic time. Feel free now to take the hands, placing them underneath the kneecaps on the shin bones, providing just a little bit of weight, just the weight of the arms without pulling. This is called Asana. Apanasana. It is the pose of grounding earth energy. You might even imagine yourself like a little seed here, full of potential, simply resting in the earth. If it's available and of interest, you might wrap the arms around and hug the knees gently, even closer to the body. You might play here with a little bit of very subtle engagement, taking the tailbone and engaging it towards the foot edge of your mat. Notice what happens. We'll release this pose, taking the feet down and extending first one leg and then the other on the earth. Allow the toes to fall out to either side. Relax the body. Take a moment in Shavasana. Feel now perhaps how the front side of the body is very, very open. It was very closed and sweetly cradled in that Apana Asana, in that seed-like pose. We'll again bend the knees, place the feet hip-width apart. Taking your right leg, bringing it in towards the chest, take the fingers, interlace them just underneath the kneecap, and gently energize the leg towards the body. Relax the toes. Take a moment with the eyes closed to visualize the shapes of the body, of the spine and of the hips. And then take your other leg, the left leg, if it's available, and extend it long. Spread through the toes and press the whole sole of the foot towards the foot edge of the mat. Again, if the chin has risen up to the sky at all, just lengthen the back of the neck, allow the chin to soften. Breathe. Bending the left knee, placing that foot back to the earth again. We'll take our right leg and extend it up to the sky. Some of us may choose to have a strap or a scarf here. We're going to be placing that behind the thigh bone. Some of us might choose to use the fingers and interlace them at the back of the thigh bone. Now watch what happens for just a moment, if you could. When I place my hands there, I'm changing the shape of the body a bit. And then I'm going to press the thigh bone into the hands and lengthen the spine once again. Breathe. Spreading through the toes here. And then if you like, you can extend the left leg long. Again, as you're going, go slow. Go at the earth's pace, slow and steady. And see what happens. How it changes the orientation of your body against the earth. Continue to breathe. You can also point the foot here. Notice how that may stretch or engage some of the muscles across the shin bone. You may also extra flex the foot and see how that accesses the calf. You can make some circles through the ankle here, going slow and noticing how each subtle movement has its various effects in the body. And then we'll bring the left foot to the earth, bend that right knee. Place the foot back to the ground. Heel toe the feet wider than the hips. Let the knees fall in on each other and pause. Close the eyes if they're open. Come into a space of observation and witnessing. Notice the energy moving in your body. We'll come over to our second side, heel toeing the feet back to hip width apart, and allowing the left knee now to come in towards the chest. When you interlace your fingers, do the less habitual way, the opposite thumb and forefinger on top, placing that just underneath the kneecap on the shin bone. Pause here, breathe. Notice the curves of the spine, the shape of the body. And then if you like, you might choose to extend the right leg long on the earth. If you do that, spread the toes of that right foot and reach through the sole. Deepen the breath. Release the pose, bending the right knee, placing the sole of the foot onto the earth, extending the left leg towards the sky. We'll come into the hamstring opener. Again, you might choose to use a strap around the back of the thigh bone. You might interlace the fingers here. I really like placing my hand kind of right in the center of the thigh, kind of a meaty, muscular part, and then engaging the back of that thigh into the hands. So even though it's a earthy pose and I'm here, I'm pretty relaxed through the face, through the breath, my leg is quite strong and energized. I'm spreading through the toes. I'm actually pressing the mound of the big toe, inner heel, mound of the pinky toe and outer heel towards the sky. So you're very welcome to stay here for a few more breaths, or if you'd like, extending the right leg long on the earth, and if you do so, pressing through the sole of that foot as well. Inviting the breath to travel into the belly, face relaxed, even as the legs are active. And bending into the knee of the right foot, bringing that back to earth, bending your left knee, releasing the pose, coming into this constructive resting position, feet a little wider than the hips, knees falling in on each other. By placing the hands on the body, we bring more awareness of the breath. We also bring a sense of care, a sense of stewardship for this incredibly precious human body that we have. And this precious body is made of the same elements that the earth is made of. We are not separate from her. So as we bring care to the body, the physical human body, we are bringing care to the body of the earth as well. Releasing this pose, we're going to heel toe the feet back towards each other. Take the arms, extend them forward, pick up one foot and then the other, and then wrap the fingertips over the kneecaps. So you're just catching the kneecaps here, and the weight of the legs is nice and heavy towards the earth. Good apana vayu, downward moving energy. So if you weren't holding onto the kneecaps here, the feet would fall back to the earth. Taking a few breaths here. Releasing this pose. We'll extend one leg long and then the other, taking another moment here in Shavasana or corpse pose. A wonderful place to come to, just to notice, to receive, to integrate. From here, let's bring a little bit of movement through the hips, bending the knees, placing the feet at hip width apart. We're going to pick up the right foot, cross it at the ankle over the left thigh. Taking the outer edge of the right knee towards the foot edge of your mat, energetically. So this is quite a beautiful form. It's called figure 4 or Suchirandrasana. And you're very welcome to stay right here. You can bring a little more lubrication by letting the legs kind of move side to side or simply breathing. This posture can also be done seated in a chair. If you'd like a little bit more sensation, you can pick up the left foot and begin to bring the legs closer to the body. Now, as you do this, you're going to notice your lumbar curve flattens against the floor. It presses into the earth. You take your hands or a strap, weave them around, and then interlace the fingers or place the strap behind the left thigh bone. This is the more passive form of the pose, letting the legs just fall in towards the body. I'm going to relax all 10 toes for a second. And just see how that feels. Again, it can be delicious, but for people who are in more flexible bodies, it create problems around overstretching in the joint space. So we're going to bring a little bit of strong earth energy into the pose for a moment. And ask you to energize both feet, spread all 10 toes, press through the ball mounds of the feet. And then you're going to take your left foot and press it energetically towards the foot edge of the mat. And as you do that, the left thigh becomes perpendicular to the earth. You regain your lumbar curve. There's a little spaciousness, at least energetic spaciousness, between the lower back and the ground. Now, if at any moment in these transitions, your chin has gotten jutted up towards the sky, go ahead and lengthen the back of the neck. Soften the face. Breathe. So feeling the active form of the pose, legs are engaged. That outer right kneecap is moving towards the foot edge of the mat as well. And then we'll go ahead and release this first side. Releasing the legs. Let's take the legs up to the sky for just a moment. So soles of the feet face the sky. And just let the line of the legs be perpendicular to the earth for a second here. And we'll take our second side, placing the soles of the feet to the earth, crossing the left ankle over the right thigh. And before you go anywhere, recognize this may be enough at a given moment in time. Take a few breaths here. Feel the asymmetry you're creating in your hip joints. And then if you would like more sensation, you might start by energizing the feet. Draw the toes back towards the kneecaps. Press through the balls of the feet. Spread all 10 toes. And then pick up the right foot and interlace the hands or use a strap behind the right thigh bone. If you're interlacing the hands, do the less habitual side, opposite thumb and forefinger on top. Then what I really love to do here is press the thigh bone into my hands. Imagine that you can lengthen from your armpits all the way to your hip points. So you're really extending the whole lower unit, the whole leg and hip unit towards the foot edge of the mat, creating more space in this pose. Soften the jaw, take a few breaths. And for a moment, experiment with the passive version of the pose. So relaxing all 10 toes, allowing the legs to kind of fall in towards the body any amount. Notice how that may change the position of the sensation. So for me, it really shifted it a little bit in terms of the hip. It moved it to a different place in the hip in my body. So I'm going to go ahead and re-engage, spreading all 10 toes, and then pressing the sole of the right foot towards the bottom of the mat, bottom edge of the mat, and breathe. Again, let the back of the neck be long. Releasing the second side. Coming back to a place of center and neutral. Your choice, either taking the legs into Shavasana or into that constructive rest pose. And then I welcome you to stay in a restful position for a few more minutes. Simply integrating and allowing the back body to release into the support of the earth. You may find you need to adjust. Once you've made any little adjustments, just let your full weight be present here. Taking as much time in this position as you need to integrate the subtle learnings of these poses. So we'll conclude the video now, and you're welcome to stay in this restful place. You're also welcome to repeat the sequence at your own pace and notice what you observe.